Welcome to the Toucan Talks podcast, brought to you by Kickstart Collective. Join us as we talk to local Wilmington business owners about what has led to their successes, challenges, and more. No question is off limits as we bounce from topic to topic.
And this podcast is brought to you by Kickstart Studios. Kickstart Studios is Wilmington's newest video podcast studio. Equipped with multiple camera angles and an in-house producer, creating a high-quality video podcast has never been easier. Don't let the tech and gear learning curve hold you back from jumping into podcasting or created video content any longer. Our team takes care of it all for you so you can focus on the message you want to share. You simply show up, record, and receive the final product. No more wasting time setting it up and breaking down the gear, setting up lights, or doing sound checks on your own. Our in-house producer will have everything set up and ready to go for you. Check us out at Kickstart Studios.
All right. This is episode 16.
Maybe.
We're going off script today for Toucan Talks. Third minisode. Yep. Yeah. Third minisode. We have no board and no cans. So
we're switching it up.
We're switching it up. So today, Alyssa and I, who, for those of you tuning in for the first time, we do this podcast called Toucan Talks, but our real jobs that pay us money is marketing, digital marketing to be specific, with Kickstart Collective. Here we are. So we're going to talk about how to develop campaign strategies. I think it'll be good and helpful, whether you work with an agency or have an in-house marketing team, or you are the in-house marketing team, or you're just doing it on your own, you work with us. It's going to be, I think, and you tell me, but I think it's pretty, like, I don't want to say basic, but I guess probably from like our brain's kind of basic, but things that when
it's good to know.
Yeah, it's good to know. And when you're like in the weeds of running a business, you don't have time unless you sit down and make time to like think through this stuff on a daily basis. I can speak from experience on that one sometimes. So yeah, I think it'll be fun. So normally we have a can and a board to transition into the talking, but we don't have that today. So let's just dive in. So when you're building out a marketing strategy, there's multiple components. We're going to break it down to like 3, I think, today. Is that what we have?
Yeah. 3 like digestible steps, yes. I feel like.
Yeah, I like that. Content marketing, people. So first, and this is kind of what we do with our new clients too, but if you're doing this on your own, that's fine. You pen and paper, write it down. You can do this. Some of this, obviously, I think is good to think through before you would even talk to a marketing person anyways as a business owner. So
yeah,
we like to start with figuring out like what the business goals are, and making sure that whatever, we're doing, whatever you're thinking on the marketing side aligns with the business goals. Because at the end of the day, marketing should be building brand awareness or getting conversions, leads, whatever, but that's only going to be effective for you in the long run if those goals align with your business goals. Mm-hmm. So, I don't know if you want to jump in so I don't just ramble this whole time with my over-caffeinated self. Thank you, Maven Coffee. This is delicious. But yeah, so I guess, I don't know if you want to talk to like when it'd probably be easier to just talk about. We also, folks, we prepared we practiced. We did not practice this. We have our notes.
We got this. But
it's what we do.
Yeah, I can jump in. So I feel like with any marketing campaign, like you said, you want to make sure that it lines up with the general business goals overall. But when you like start to try and narrow it down and make it more specific, that's exactly what you want to do. Make your goals specific, measurable, instead of just being like, oh, I want more sales, or, oh, I want more people to come into my business. It's got to be like, I want to increase sales by blank percent.
Yes. Yeah.
Or I want X amount of people to sign up for this event that I'm having.
Mm-hmm.
So making sure it's something that's measurable and attainable
Yeah.
helps in the long run too, because then at the end of the campaign you can say, okay, we did what we were supposed to do,
Yeah. or,
or okay, here's how we can re-strategize for next time.
For sure. It sounds like you're saying people should have SMART goals.
I am.
Whoa. I agree 100%. I hate that. I hate that acronym. I don't know why. I think it's just a personal problem. But yes, they should be specific. And on the business side, yes, like you're saying, if you have your business goals and they are specific and measurable and achievable and what is R? Relevant. Yes, again, relevant to your goals. And then a set amount of time, obviously, because if we're talking campaigns, there should be a start and an end time. But if you have that laid out for your business, then it's easier when you're looking at your marketing to match up like what on the marketing side like lines up with the business side. So like if you want X amount of leads, for example, then we know, okay, we might need to drive X amount of website traffic. And by we, if you're doing it on your own, from just like a conversion rate standpoint, it would say like, okay, my conversion rate on my website is this. So if I want, 2 leads, I might need to drive 100 new people to the website. And then from there, we can start mapping out like the tactics that you need to do to get there. So, step 1, define your goals and objectives. I like to say, like, start with end in mind with the business goals, and then let's align the marketing goals to that.
Yeah.
So, cool.
I think that's good.
Love it. 2, you gotta really know your target audience.
Yeah.
Like, really know them.
Yeah.
Like, best friends.
Besties.
BFFs for life. So I think it's really easy to say like, oh yeah, I know my target audience. I don't know. We should have picked an arbitrary business for this.
We could do dog shampoo, dog food.
Ooh, dog food. Okay. I like
Dog food.
I like I like that idea.
Okay.
So let's say you made the world's best dog food. The dog said so.
Yeah.
So who's your target audience? It could be people from, it could be someone 25 to 65.
Mm-hmm.
That's really broad.
Yeah.
And that's okay to start there and say like, yeah, someone, let's say it's premium dog food because you're making it. It's great.
Yeah.
So then like their income levels and jobs, like those sort of things are going to come into play. And then their behaviors in terms of they own a dog.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. Start with dog owners.
Yeah. So you got kind of like your basics, which I think a lot of people stop there.
There's so much more.
But there's so much more, which is where it can get fun. Or for some people, they're like, I hate this activity.
Yeah.
But I think if you leave it broad, then the messaging is harder.
Yeah.
Where when you start dialing it down, then you can start talking to like that specific person's pain points and their motivations for buying your premium product versus hitting up Target or Walmart or I'm like, where would that's what you buy dog. Yeah. PetSmart. Yeah. So what's gonna like motivate that person? So, this is where I feel like you have to really sit down and start thinking through like their pain points and their motivation. So in this example, again, since, we planned this out beforehand on the spot, if it's pet food, then like it might be someone who, is 35 and their dog has allergies and is always itching, and they're tired of spending money on steroids, like medication, and they're like frustrated. And so now they're going to try the food, like try a better quality food and see if that helps. So like what is going to motivate that person to buy your product over, again, just like normal dog food?
Yeah. It's like what problem are you solving for them? And that can help you narrow it down a little farther.
Yeah, for sure. And tapping into like those emotions. I
remember, I don't even remember who it was or what client it was, but I remember we were talking to a client one time and we were doing all these steps, starting a campaign for them. And because you can, these are all specific, but you can also ask questions that just help you get like the vibe of the person. I remember we asked them like, oh, what does your ideal customer, how do they take their coffee?
Yes, I do.
I remember asking that.
Yeah.
And like, it's kind of silly, and that's one that you should maybe just add on at the end.
Well,
but
I think
it helps you just get like a better idea of who they are, their mindset that they're in, what they're looking for.
Like, are they going to Maven?
Yeah.
Or are they
going to Dunkin'?
Yeah. Yes.
Because two different groups of people.
I have not had Dunkin'. I don't know the last time I had Dunkin' coffee.
I used to be a Dunkin' girl, but
I know.
I have not had it in a long time. I've matured.
Nothing again. Well, if you like Dunkin', we love you. But there's better options. But that might not be like if like coffee, like Luke wouldn't. He doesn't drink coffee, but like he's not gonna, he wouldn't care.
Yeah.
Yeah. But no, that is one of my favorite questions because I feel like you can like, the spending habits, the like daily ritual routines of a person, like all those things it's just a fun question to like get people thinking. So if you are like, I don't know what my target, like you like have the broad like idea of your target audience, which again is a good place to start, but I don't think you're going to get like, one, the messaging nailed in if you keep it broad, and two, once you move into things like Facebook ads and things like that, you can get super specific. And the more specific you are, the more you're going to reach and talk directly to your target audience. So you can talk to your favorite client or your favorite customer.
Yeah.
And see, like, do like legit market research if you have the budget. If you don't have the budget to do legit market research, have a conversation. Like, just call them up and be like, hey, or email them. Or you could do, like, if you do have a customer base, and especially if it's like repeat customers or customers that you've really enjoyed working with, you can put together like a super simple Survey Monkey like thing of like what motivated you to work with me, or like what motivated you to make this purchase. Different things like that, just to get some data and help kind of get the ball rolling and narrow down that person.
Yeah. If you're already established and you already have a customer base, yeah, you're right. The best place to look for your audience is to your audience.
Yeah. The ones you love.
If you want to tweak it, if you're like, oh, I would, if I want to reach this audience now, then you kind of know where your base is and you can see how to like change it to target a new group of people.
Yeah. Good point. And then the last part of that, at least I think specifically on our side, when we start then moving into like the marketing, is figuring out where these people like spend their time online. If you're going on like the digital marketing route, which I highly recommend. It's my favorite route to go, but there are tons of options. Yeah, not biased at all. Definitely am. But I think, from a visibility standpoint and a cost standpoint and just being able to track, it's a great place to be. But are they like, is your audience more of a business audience? Do you need to focus on LinkedIn? Which I just feel like is like really, I don't know I should know. I should do some Googling and some research. But I feel like LinkedIn is just like picked back up recently.
Yeah.
It's crazy.
Kind of popping off.
Yeah.
It is.
Who knew? And it's a lot more than just people like job searching. I feel like people are starting to use it for like more content and like industry, like expertise. And
yeah,
it's cool. But should you be hanging out on LinkedIn? Should you be on Instagram or Facebook? Just on the organic side, like, are they engaging in emails, or are they going to engage in long form webinar content? Do you just need to be on Pinterest? Like,
Yeah.
you got to start figuring
maybe even
that
TikTok.
out. I wasn't going to say it.
I'll say it. I'll say it.
Maybe you should be on TikTok. No, there is a good chance that you should be on TikTok.
But I feel like TikTok is also like pretty niche depending on who you are. Like if you're real estate, probably your audience,
you might
TikTok audience is normally younger, so you might not really need to put your main focus on that.
Yes. Yeah, that's a good point. And then, the only other, I think, to the channels would be like, then looking at like your ads. Like if you, how do I say this? I think organic is wonderful and great and you need to be there. But I think with the time and effort, you can a lot of times accomplish it using like Facebook and Instagram ads a lot faster, just from like a time and value than strictly focusing on organic.
Yeah, you're definitely not going to get the results that you might be looking for if you're only doing organic, but it is important to have a presence on organic.
Absolutely. And
because,
and you can get conversions and leads and all that definitely from organic social media. I think if you have the budget to invest in, and maybe we're jumping down to our third point, but definitely are. If you have
good segue.
If you have time and budget to invest in ads, then like it is going to accelerate that visibility.
For sure.
That's all I'm saying. We'll dive into this a little bit more in our upcoming webinar.
Stay tuned.
Stay tuned. I believe it is on, I'll check my notes. Maybe I'll check my notes. October 12th. We're going to do a webinar. It's going to be great. It's going to be me, Alyssa, Luke, Joshua will be behind the computer. It's going to be live. A little scary. No, it'll be great. But I think during that, we'll probably dive in a little bit more into like the difference in like on the strategy side between ads and organic, and how they come into play. So we can, we'll dive in.
More to come.
More to come. But I think by the time we'll have the registration up by the time you guys are watching this, so you can sign up for that lovely webinar. But yes, all that to say, know your target audience, like know their motivations, their pain points, and where they're hanging out on the interwebs.
Yeah.
And then lastly, you take all of that info and you develop your strategy.
The fun part.
So based on those business objectives, your marketing objectives, your audience, you're going to create your campaign. So that's definitely where it gets fun in terms of like messaging and content and creativity. I think there's like time and a place for like branding and kind of like evergreen messaging and content. And then there's time and a place, which I feel like is branding's fun for sure. But like the specific campaigns where it's either like seasonal or for a specific product or service, and you can get like super specific and go for it.
Yeah, because then you get to come up with fun like video concepts or photo shoots, or you get to create what the people are going to see. Yeah. Or what you're going to give them, or, you know.
For sure. So when it comes to like structuring and building out this content, so obviously first, like you need some sort of like theme or messaging that's going to resonate again with that target audience. And if you did the homework of figuring out their pain points and their motivations, it will be easier because you have less to sift through. It's more concise, and then ideally a little bit easier. But you're going to want to take that content and your ideas and segment it out into like top of funnel, top of funnel, middle of funnel, and bottom of funnel. Again, I kind of like to think of it like, yes, that's on the marketing side, but it ideally would align with like the sales side too. Especially if you're at a company and you have a sales team, like matching those up works well. If you're solo, like you still ideally would have some sort of sales funnel.
Especially when you get to the bottom. It might be jumping ahead, but
go straight to the bottom of the funnel.
Top is like awareness, middle is creating those
lead gen
leads. Yeah. And then the bottom is when you actually make the conversion. So yeah, if you have a business where there's like actual sales team where then a salesperson takes over and they have to close the deal, that matters. Or if it's just you and you're making a sale on your website.
Yeah.
It kind of is the same but different depending on
they should
what the
align.
business is. Yeah.
But no, you're exactly right. So top of funnel, awareness, visibility. A lot of times, depending on where your content is, this could be going out to a cold audience. So like, you're not like, if we just met, I wouldn't be like, hey, buy this marketing package that's a 6-month retainer. Cause you're gonna be like, who the heck are you? Like, I don't know anything about you or what you do. But a case study or like something a little bit more educational, like a podcast episode talking about marketing strategy, could be good top of funnel content. I don't know.
Crazy.
We're not doing this just for fun, people. But just thinking through like, okay, if someone has never heard of you, one, you're not going to ask them for something, most likely, ideally, that first interaction, but also like what value are you providing them in that content? So whether it's something like a podcast or a blog post or a really good, I mean, it could be a really good organic social media thing that has some like tips or values, something like that. So top of funnel, you want them to get an idea of who you are. You're giving them something of value.
Yeah. Get to know them. They get to know you. You warm up to each other.
You're like, hey, maybe we could be friends.
Yeah.
And then you're like, no, I'm just kidding. Sign
and
up.
You're like, let's get coffee.
Yes. Where you can pay me for my idea. I'm just kidding. But yeah, then that middle of funnel content is ideally a warm audience. At that point, hopefully we're generating a lead, ideally capturing an email address or phone number, whatever contact information you like it, which I guess is probably a good point. Like depending on your business, you might not need text message to SMS marketing is great, e-commerce, or whether you're like a service-based business. But you know, you have to decide like what qualifies as a lead and what do you need from that person to be a lead.
I feel like we touched on this in our last Minisode too, kind of. But in this stage, you also want to, in the top of funnel, you're still giving them something valuable. But even in this stage, you're giving them something maybe even more valuable so that you can get their information and be like, sign up for my email list to get exclusive news about my dog food. Yeah. Or sign up for my newsletter to get a percentage off of my product. Yes. And then, because that gives them an incentive. Yeah, exactly. To give you their information.
Yeah. Because even if that offer like is something that's free, like new, like updates or something, or like an opt-in or educational piece, like they're still investing their time. Yeah. Like if you want me to watch a webinar on October 12th, that's going to take up an hour of my life. Like it better be worth whatever my perceived hourly rate is of value, because I'm taking an hour of my life to watch that. So yeah, no, it's a good point. It has to be worth them giving you their information. So yeah, middle of funnel, hopefully it's lead generation. We're getting contact information again, like you said, opt in for a newsletter, some sort of offer, a webinar. I don't know.
Webinar is a great idea.
So yeah, then once you have that, then you have your leads. And I think this, depending on the business, is where it like is a different ballgame. Like if it's e-commerce, then yeah, Facebook ads, running product ads, that might be that might be all you need for bottom of a funnel, like conversion, or retargeting them because you, on your middle of the funnel, you sent them to their website and they opted in. They're going to get a welcome email, and then you're going to retarget them with Facebook ads with products they viewed. But if it's like some other clients and industries to where it's like a very hands-on sales process, at that point, your sales team ideally is taking these leads, and there might be like email automations, but they also might be like calling them, one-on-one and qualifying the leads and closing the sale that way. So, that being said, I feel like once it gets to the bottom of the funnel, the main goal from like top and middle, and again, these are building on each other, is to have those leads like primed and ready for whatever that closing of the lead action is. So
yeah, getting them warmer and warmer.
Just warming them up
till they're on fire and they're ready to go.
Like, I have to buy this. Well, and too, like, no, that is good. I know we're being funny, but it is a good point of like top of funnel. They don't know who you are. You're giving them something. Middle of the funnel, you're giving them something better. So it makes sense that whatever they're going to buy from you should, and in their minds, is going to be even better and like worth them buying it. So you truly are. Drawing them down the funnel.
It just worked on me. I was just telling you.
Yes.
Kept getting ads on my Instagram from this boutique online, and I saw them for a few weeks, and I was like, oh, that's kind of cute. And they got me.
I know, it's cute.
And now I'm wearing it.
Yep.
So
it worked. Yeah. And now they have your info, and they can email you, and you can be a customer for life. No, but it is true. Like, as you, build awareness and take an action and then follow up, it should ideally, again, if your messaging aligns to your target audience and your goals, it should result in a positive ROI.
Yeah.
All right. Page 1 of notes done. I think everything else, those are, I guess, again, define your goals and objectives, know your target audience, develop your marketing strategy. We are kind of keeping this, I feel like, somewhat brief on like maybe the creative side of it or the content creation side of it, which again, being funny and not being funny, we will talk more about that in the longer webinar that will be on October 12th. But other things to keep in mind when you're building out a marketing strategy, which we talked about this, but like your channel selection. So what is most effective for reaching your target audience? So is it social? Is it email marketing? SEO, blog creation, Google ads, YouTube ads, traditional advertising,
lots of ways to go.
So many options. But again, that goes back to your messaging and your target audience.
And I feel like some of them are more, can work for more brands too. Like, I feel like a lot of brands can benefit from Google ads. Yeah. Because you're more than likely going to be searched on Google.
For sure.
And then there's other ways you can get more specific with that.
Yeah.
But yeah, you got to figure out where your audience is at in order to know where to be.
Yes. All goes back to knowing your audience. Then the content plan, obviously that's going to move into developing the content that aligns with your messaging and your channels. So I think just as an example, just because it'll be a recent example so we can talk about it. You want to go rough draft? Birthday ad?
Oh, sure.
Sure. Okay, we can talk about that. So with that, Rough Draft is a dog park bar in town. And we started talking about talking with them, like what campaign, like concepts would work and whatever. So starts with the target audience. Yep. The people that are bringing their dog to a dog park bar love their dogs.
Yes.
And if you love your dog, you celebrate your dog's birthday.
You give them the best.
Yeah, of course. So we're like, well, why not do a campaign around your dog's birthday?
I also feel like it kind of started too because they saw a trend there. Like people are coming here for their dog's birthdays. Yes. So why don't we promote that and show people, you can come here. Yeah. So they saw a need and then we created a campaign.
Yeah, that's a good point. So again, the messaging centered around like celebrating your dog's birthday. You can invite your dog's friends. Like, I'm gonna be honest, I love my dogs and I do get them treats for their birthdays, but I'm not going to invite all their dog friends over to my house. Like, that's crazy. But I would invite them to Rough Draft.
There you go.
So kind of teasing out some of those different ideas in the campaign and the messaging. And then for them, the channels that worked well or are obviously social, running it as ads, and then having a automated email campaign set up. So once they see the ad and it's like, oh, I can celebrate my dog's birthday. But wait, there's more. They could fill out the form on either the ad or the landing page with their dog's birthday. And then the month of their birthday, they get a coupon for like a free doggy beer or like a promotion for a human drink. So it's taking it a step beyond and then having that follow up. So awareness, I can have my doggy's birthday here. Lead generation, I'm going to fill out this form. But filling out a form does not make rough draft money. Getting them in the door does. And then you have an incentive. It's fun. It's for, it ties it all together to go from awareness to lead gen to a conversion. So
great example.
Great example. Thanks, Rough Draft. And Kickstart Collective's team. So yeah, basically that is what I got there for that bullet point. And then lastly, budget and resources. So you got to consider your budget, obviously.
I should probably maybe start out with that too. When you're looking at audience, probably should know what you need to spend. Yeah.
And there's two ways to look at it. I feel like we have some clients that they're like, I have X amount this month, like per month to spend on my digital marketing. And then we have clients who are like, I need to generate X amount in revenue. And then you kind of got to reverse engineer the math to figure out, again, like how many leads does that mean? Like conversion rates. And again, the more data the client has on that front, the better.
Yeah.
But sometimes they don't.
You gotta test it out.
Yeah. You have to test it and, test different things and shift. And that's fine. So yeah, channel section, content plan, your budget. That I feel like with the other three main points is kind of to get someone started on building out a marketing plan. So yeah, that being said, two things. Webinar, October 12th.
October 12th. Live.
Live with me. I'm Laura. If you didn't know. Luke, who is our creative director, also my husband. So that's always a fun time. And Alyssa, who will bring it all together and make sure we don't bicker. I'm just kidding. Just kidding. No, but it will be fun. I believe it's 12 o'clock, but by the time this episode comes out, by the time you're listening to it, we will have registration set up, link in the show notes, so you can sign up for that. And when you sign up for that, you will get a bonus target audience worksheet. Super fun. Basically, it'll take you through the things we talked about earlier with getting to know your target audience. So it's PDF, downloadable. You can fill it in. Super fun. But I think really before you start putting too much effort into any of your marketing initiatives, you got to know that. Or it's kind of, it might work, but it won't work as good as it could.
It'd make it a whole lot easier.
Yes. You got to do the work up front. So yeah, I don't know. Anything else you think we should add on developing campaign strategies, marketing strategies?
No, I think it was a good overview of the process. Like you said, there's obviously a lot more that goes into it, especially with once you get to the content creation part of it.
For sure.
Lots of fun.
That'll be fun. We can dive into that.
Yeah.
Webinar style. And I guess we'll be able to do, since it's going to be live, we can do live Q&A. So if people have questions, we can answer them on the spot. Good times.
Cool.
All right. So thanks for tuning in to this Minisode. We'll have that webinar link, and if you have questions, or if you're working through this, feel free to reach out to us. Instagram's Kickstart Collective. Our website is kickstartcollective.co. So just CO at the end. There's a contact form on there. So if you're looking at this and you're like, or listening to this and have questions, we're more than happy to talk to you.
Yeah.
and help you get the ball rolling. And then, if it's one of those things where you want to outsource it, obviously we can talk about that, but we don't mind having initial conversations just to help you get the wheels turning. So yeah, thanks for tuning in, and we'll see you guys next week. Thanks for tuning in to another episode of Toucan Talks, brought to you by Kickstart Collective. If you loved this episode, be sure to subscribe wherever you watch podcasts, and follow Kickstart Collective on Instagram at Kickstart Collective.